derby bragging rights for the red half of Manchester. Not the start to the league campaign in the calendar year that Gareth Taylor would have wanted. Undone by early goals in this Women's Super League derby and unable to find a position to recover. Manchester City 2, Manchester United 4. Ella Toone on her comeback in Women's Super League, the hat-trick hero for the Reds. Leah Galton also getting in on the act. Consolation goals from Viv Niedermar and Rebecca Knack. But it just wasn't to be for Gareth Taylor and his players. And the final thoughts from Karen Barsley.
It's a difficult one to take, isn't it, Nick? I think, you know, this storyline tonight will just be one where it was a bit full of mistakes and perhaps a bit naive for Manchester City. And from the first whistle, Manchester United were all about it. They were intense. They were quality on the ball. They managed the momentum of the game. And I think these are the things that I would have expected to be saying about Manchester City tonight. But it isn't to be, and unfortunately that reflects itself in the WSL table as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Full time here at the Etihad. It's finished. Manchester City 2, Manchester United 4. Let's hand you back to the studio.
Welcome back to Matchday Live, where City have been beaten for the first time ever at home in the Manchester derby in the WSL. It finished 4-2. Ella Toone with the hat-trick, that fourth goal for Manchester United coming within seconds of the start in the second half, and all of the hope we had for a valiant comeback seemed to shrivel away right at the start of the second half. I'm still joined in the studio by Toni Duggan and by Steve Howey. Tony, we were so excited at half-time with the two goals and the character that City had shown, but it really felt like United getting that fourth goal so quickly just really killed the momentum for City.
Yeah, I think the one thing that you wouldn't want to happen as soon as you kick off for the second half is what happened. And I think Gareth Taylor will be angry, to say the least, with that. I think Keaton didn't have the best tonight, unfortunately for her. She is a young goalkeeper and I'm sure it'll be a big lesson for her. But I think also the players recognising, you know, they're going back to the goalkeeper from kick-off when she's had not the best of first halves. And then obviously she does the goal kick, and United pressed, they're all over it. They've started the second half how they started the first. And, you know, the goal comes from that. Easy tap-in again for Ella Toone. And I just think tonight the girls will be disappointed because individual errors has cost them a lot, and it was a massive, massive game today. So, yeah, lessons learned for individuals, for the team. You see them there. Hopefully they can regroup and go again on Wednesday because they face Man United again.
Absolutely. When we look at the stats for the game, Steve, City had 74% possession, which surprised me when I first saw it, given how much Manchester United were pressing and not giving City time on the ball. What does that tell us about the game?
I'm surprised at that, because I thought Man United, particularly in the first half, were by far the better team. I mean, yes, City came into the back end of it. City did have the ball at the back quite a bit, but what Man United were basically doing was just setting traps and just leaving a player free in that little area, certainly central, and then just waiting for that ball to go in there, then squeeze, and then that's where they were getting the joy from. I thought second half was pretty even from both teams, but obviously that goal, the fourth goal, kind of kills the game a little bit, because we were expecting City to come out the second half and, you know, carry on from the end of the first, and could they get another goal, and then, you know, we've got game on. But obviously conceding straight away just kind of knocked the air out of the team a little bit. Kind of the same with the atmosphere in the ground as well. So it kind of went a little bit flat. That suits Manchester United down on the ground. They're quite happy with that. Let's just take our time. Let's sort of kind of kill the game off even more. And ultimately that's what happened. There was only one chance really for Man City in that half, and that was the Mary Fowler. Unfortunately, the goalkeeper pulls off a great save, but other than that, not a great deal happened the second half.
Yeah, you're so right about making the stadium flat as well, because I think, me included, the fans here at half-time were thinking, oh my God, a comeback is on, like 2 goals in 10 minutes, we're fighting, and then for that to happen in the first sort of 10 seconds of the half, it was very, very deflating. We saw in that second half, Tony, the Manchester United defence that we've been hearing about. You know, we talked about it before the game, in that they'd only conceded 3 in the WSL before today. I jokingly said we'd found a chink in the armour getting the 2 goals, but in the second half, they certainly showed us why they've been so defensively solid all season.
Yeah, and I think they just managed the game then. I think, the 2 goals ahead, and it's about managing the game, and they've done that really well, I think. I think it was only the one opportunity that Mary Fowler got, and, Tullis Joyce has been absolutely brilliant so far this season, and again, she shows why. But I do think Wednesday will be a different game. I think Manchester City was a nervy start, and you say that they had 74% possession. I don't think it was the Manchester City possession-based team that we're accustomed to. I think they did have the ball a lot along the back line, but they didn't really do much with it. There wasn't many options, I think the way Manchester United set up, they went player for player, made it really difficult, really ugly for Manchester City. That's not how they want it. They want it pretty, but they're going to have to find a new formula for Wednesday, because Manchester United are going to take confidence from this, and I can't see them setting up much different from tonight. So yeah, it'll be back to the drawing board, regroup, back into training, and can they come up with different tactics for Wednesday?
If we're looking for some positives from the game, Steve, I thought Fagino was really impressive down the wing.
Yeah, I thought Park as well in the midfield was also good, industrious, trying to make things happen. But it's such a difficult one. When you're 3-0 down, you're asking for a miracle, really, to come back, and you give yourself a mountain to climb. To be fair to the women, they never sort of had their heads down. They kept on trying to play, kept on trying to do the right thing, sometimes to the detriment, really, because they were still trying to play out from the back, and Man United was still trying to set traps. As I said, got a foothold into it, got it back to 3-2, and you're thinking, we've got a game on. But yeah, look, we've just seen there the huddle at the end. It'd be disappointing. I think it is Man United's first win here in the derby.
Yeah.
So they'll be delighted about it. Look, sometimes runs come to an end. Unfortunately, it's tonight, but they've just got to, look at where they went wrong and can they build on it and be better and stronger.
Of course, the problem with the WSL, Toni, is that there's not a lot of games. And so losing 3 games in a season, it would be extremely difficult for City to come back and win the league now. United jump City now, so City currently sitting in 4th. Do you think, sort of between now and the end of the WSL season, City's focus is making sure that we retain a Champions League spot again?
Yeah, that's got to be the focus now. Manchester City have to be in the Champions League. They spent a few years out of the competition, which was very unlike them. But as a club this big, they have to be playing Champions League every year. So that'll be the focus now. The gap between them and Chelsea is much larger now, and unfortunately, who knows? Crazier things have happened, but I do think the focus has to be Champions League now.
And of course, we still have the Champions League for this season as well that we're still in. And as Toni mentioned, we are still in the League Cup as well. Now, you will have formerly known that as the Conti Cup. Well, the sponsor has changed this year, and it is now the Subway Cup or the Subway Trophy?
The Subway Cup, I think.
The Subway Cup, yes. Yes, the Subway Cup, because they, of course, Subway are the new sponsor. So it is at the quarter-final stage. City are just coming into the Subway Cup at this point. City, Arsenal and Chelsea, the 3 teams that qualified for the Champions League last season, all come in at the quarter-final stages. The other teams were 20 teams that were divided into 5 groups, and the winner of each group qualified for the next stage. Then there was a draw.
Sorry, guys.
Somebody in the room did the draw and pulled out Manchester City to play Manchester United. Toni Duggan, what were you doing?
I got excited. I thought we'd beat them tonight and then, take it into Wednesday, but it's not happened. So it's another opportunity anyway, to put things right. So yeah, I did draw out Manchester City v Man United, but it could be a different story. I hope it's a different story.
I like that you're trying to find the positive of that there. Yes, Toni doing the draw, proving that there's no such thing as warming the balls up before you do a draw, because she would not have pulled that one out. Steve, I guess, on all seriousness, Toni's looking for a positive. A positive for City will be, it is away on Wednesday night, but a few days after this game, it is an immediate chance to bounce back after Manchester United. And not the Conti Cup, the Subway Cup, the League Cup is a trophy that City historically love. We've won it so many times. So I'm going to say only a few days for us to bounce back. Absolutely.
I think the City players will be wounded by this and they'll want to bounce back from it, and they've got a perfect opportunity straight away against the team that's just beat them. It is a perfect opportunity for them. Do Man United players look at that and thinking, well, yes, it was 4-2, but it was actually a little bit more comfortable than that, and kind of get a little bit blasé about it? I'm not too sure. I think their manager and some of their experienced players will probably make sure that they don't think that. But one thing is for sure, I think Gareth will make sure that his team's ready to go and do not give any team 3-0 start. But I think they'll learn lessons from today. and it's a perfect opportunity to bounce back.
I think as a player as well, when you lose a game like that, you go home and all you want to do is play that game again. And they've got that opportunity now, and it's only 3 days away. So I think the City girls will be up for it Wednesday. They have to be.
I like that take. Yes. Quick chance to get back. Thank you. That makes me feel better. Thank you, both of you. On Wednesday night as well, of course. So the women's 7 o'clock against Manchester United. That is away in the Subway Cup. The men take on PSG in the Champions League. It is the second last group game of the Champions League. And for me, it is the biggest game of the season so far. City is currently sitting in an almost perilous position. So you'll know by now the big old league thing that I keep calling it, the massive new league that we've got in the Champions League. So you need to be in the top 24 to progress to the next round. The top 8 will miss the playoffs. At the minute, we are hoping for a playoff place because City currently sitting in 22nd on 8 points. PSG sitting in 25th on 7 points. So as it stands, PSG would be going out of the Champions League and we would be squeaking through. With 2 games left, this is an absolute must-win game, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be honest, some people are in favour of this new format. I'm not. I like the old way, you knew where you were kind of thing. You know, you knew where you were in the league as well. But yeah, it's a huge game. I mean, PSG themselves, I think they might be 10 points clear in Ligue 1.
They are.
So, but Ligue 1 is not like the Premier League. And I think what gives City a massive boost is they've just won 6-0 away from home in the Premier League. You know, people say, oh, well, it's Ipswich, but it's still a tough ground to go to. So they'll be, you know, buoyed by that. Players getting on the score sheet, which is excellent. So this is City on their day. Any given day, they can beat anybody. So I'm full of hope for that one. Beat PSG, I think. Have they got Bruges after that? Is it Bruges?
We've got Bruges, yes,
Yeah.
as our last game.
Win the 2 games, there isn't a problem. But obviously got to concentrate on PSG first game.
PSG are 10 points clear of the league. They're unbeaten in the league, but they're in this position in the Champions League because they have been beaten in the big old group stage by Atletico, by Bayern and by Arsenal. Okay, 3 big teams that they have faced there, but they have been beaten, which is why they are in this position. Now, they have signed the former Napoli player, the Georgian international, the incredible striker that you'll know, whose name I cannot pronounce. Kvaratskhelia, I think. You'll know who I mean. That is not a correct pronunciation, but you'll know who I mean. They have signed him in the last couple of days, and I believe that there is no cup ties in the Champions League, or that was the rule a couple of years ago, unless that has changed now. So maybe he will be available to play as well. But Tony, the 6-0 game today, the 6-0 victory today, as Steve said, that is the perfect result to take that level of confidence to Paris in this must-win game.
Yeah, it's massive. I think, you know, in football, confidence plays a massive part, and the performance that they put in today, there's no better position for them to go into this game. And I think also it's in City's hands, so, you know, they can take confidence from that as well. You know, it's not the end of the world if they draw the game either. Obviously, we want to win. But it's not the end of the world if they draw. But it is massive. It's massive for the club, as I said, with the women's team. Manchester City need to be in the Champions League for both the women's and the men's team. And I am sure that they both will be.
Oh, Tony, thank you. I needed that because I have been really, really worrying about this. But as you said, Steve, the result today makes me feel a lot better because if we go to Paris on Wednesday night and we have Doku, if we have, what did Jez, Kevin, Phil linking up the way that they did today?
I haven't got a problem.
Then yes. We haven't got a problem. If we do that, can we do it again?
I don't see why not. As I said, the boys will get on. I'm not sure if they're getting the plane or the train or whatever, but it'll be buzzing. Absolutely buzzing when everybody will be laughing. The goals have been shared around. Good performances. Lads have come on, contributed. So the group as a whole will be flying because of that. And yes, it was a little bit disappointing with Brentford, but they knew they'd give a good performance and they were just steadily getting better and better. I'm pretty sure they'll get better again against PSG.
And I've just heard cup tied until the knockouts. So he can't play on Wednesday and he can't play in the last group game, but he will be able to play in the knockouts. But hey, we don't need to think about that right now. We're only playing them on Wednesday. Okay, so we're feeling positive for that. As you say, a draw wouldn't be the end of the world. Everybody plays at the same time on the last game, the 29th of January. We play Bruges, 8 p.m. kickoff. Every single team in the big old league plays at the same time. That is going to be one wild night, keeping a track on that. as it stands table. But hopefully points in Paris and we won't have too much to worry. Before we go, obviously as a former striker, Toni, we wanted to get your thoughts on Erling Haaland's new contract, 9.5-year deal. What did you think when you heard about it?
Imagine the amount of goals he's scored at the end of that. Wow. There'll be so many records broken, hopefully. But it's just incredible, isn't it? Wow. I mean, in women's football, it's still at 1 and 2 year contracts, you know, people chopping and changing club to club. But I guess it gives the club that security, and it also gives him the time, you know, he can settle now and relax. He's here for a long old ride, and hopefully it's a joyful one.
And do you think it's a representation, of course, of how happy he must be here?
Yeah, I'm sure he's really happy. I mean, he's hit the ground running since he's been here. He's been incredible, and, you know, I'm sure that will continue.
Thank you. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, loved it. Thanks for having me. Yeah, of course.
Coming back, I know you are. You're coming back in a few weeks for the Arsenal game.
I hope.
So we'll look forward to seeing you then again. Steve, thank you so much.
Pleasure, thank you.
We know you'll come back because we see you all the time because we love it.
Yes.
So thank you. We look forward to seeing you again soon. We look forward to seeing you for the Arsenal game, that double-header Arsenal game, February the 2nd. The women play at 12 o'clock at the Joy, and then the men play away at Arsenal at 4:30. That is going to be one incredible day. Thank you very much for joining us on Matchday Live today. It has been a roller coaster of a day, an incredible result for the men and a disappointing Manchester derby defeat for the women. But as we say, the women get an opportunity to bounce back on Wednesday night when they take on Manchester United away in the League Cup. I'll just say that'll be easier. And the men take on PSG in the Champions League away in Paris. We will be here, Matchday Live will be here with you covering both the games. So we'll see you on Wednesday. In the meantime, I don't know how to be positive or because I'm sad for the women and I'm happy for the men. Do you know what? It's been a roller coaster of a day. Thank you very much for being here with us. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Dear defenders, I've been reflecting on these last few years together.
Erling Haaland is a phenomenon.
Like any relationship, there's been ups and downs, highs and lows. That's natural. Yes, we had our battles, but you pushed me to be the best version of myself. And while things can get heated, we all need to let our hair down sometimes. Anyway, there's been a lot of rumors flying around recently. I get it. Sometimes you might not want me around. But I think we need each other. In other words, you complete me.
The trademark celebration.
So all I have to say is, sorry. I'm here to stay. Erling.